I just realized that I don't have my guillotine earrings on tonight. I should have gone and put them on to make this video, but y'all know how much I love to hate on billionaires. I think that billionaires as a concept should not exist. I think we should have a wealth cap. Obviously, I'm a staunch anti-capitalist. There's no reason for people to hoard more wealth than they could spend in 10 lifetimes, even one lifetime. I've been practicing permaculture for more than 25 years, and the three ethics of permaculture are earth care, people care, and fair share. So yeah, no, I do not think that billionaires should be allowed to exist. I was pleasantly surprised to hear Billie Eilish say this the other day.
I would just say, like, we're in a time right now where the world is really, really bad and really dark, and people need empathy and help more than kind of ever, especially in our country. And I'd say if you have money, it would be great to use it for good things and maybe give it to some people that need it. And love you all, but there's a few people in here that have a lot more money than me. And if you're a billionaire, why are you a billionaire? No hate, but yeah, give your money away, shorties. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay, I loved this. There's a number of people on TikTok who've made videos with their hot takes on why, like, this is just performative or it's not enough. Mark Zuckerberg was in that room. This video went incredibly viral. This was Billie Eilish getting some innovator award for Wall Street Journal magazine. And initially people would be like, oh God, why would she go to a Wall Street Journal thing? And like, what? She was using her opportunity to have an audience of all of these super rich fucks who donate to Donald Trump, who are simping for Donald Trump because they think that it will increase their wealth exponentially. They already have more wealth than they could spend in multiple lifetimes. Sorry, I got feedback that I'm clinking my rings together and it annoys people, so try and stop that. They already have more wealth than they could spend in multiple lifetimes, and yet they are trying to increase that wealth significantly by cozying up to fascism. Could you imagine being obscenely rich? You live in extreme luxury, and you're like, nah, that's not enough for me. Why don't I just take Medicaid away from poor disabled Americans, from little children? Why don't I just take food stamps away from the poorest Americans? Because I need even more. I need to slap more money on my giant pile of gold and my dragon hoard. That's what these fucks are doing, right? Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Peter Thiel, and Mark Zuckerberg. Y'all, like, just a handful of the richest men in this country have more wealth than the entire middle class. It is nonsensical. And here we have a 23-year-old Billie Eilish standing up in a room full of wealthy, powerful, influential people who think that, like, she's one of them and she's going to schmooze with them, and she's speaking truth to power. I absolutely applaud her for this effort, and I applaud her for the way she took an opportunity not only to address them directly, but to create a viral video. This is elevating the question in our entire society. Why do we have billionaires? Why are you a billionaire? If you're a billionaire, something's fucking wrong with you, right? Like, Billie Eilish's whole thing is like, why are you like this? Why do you have $1 billion? Why would you do that? Give your money away. Now, I think when we look at men like Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, when we look at billionaires, it's not just men, it's also, like Oprah Winfrey's a billionaire, Taylor Swift's a billionaire. But y'all, okay, you can't take somebody with $2 or $3 billion. Yes, obscenely wealthy. They should be taxed until they don't exist as a billionaire, right? Nobody needs $1 billion. But when you look at Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk is positioned to be the world's first trillionaire, men with hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. We're talking more wealth than entire nations. We're talking these men could cure homelessness. They could give beds in rehab to every person struggling with addiction. They could end poverty in this country in a heartbeat. Could you imagine having the kind of resources that they have and all of the good you could do with it, all of the suffering that you could end? And they choose not to. So when Billie Eilish is like, what's wrong with you? Why do you have $1 billion? Why are you a billionaire? Give away your money. Why are you a billionaire? The reason these men are able to become billionaires in the first place is because they don't mind exploiting other people. There is no ethical means by which you become a billionaire because it requires exploitation. It requires hoarding far more than your fair share. It requires other people doing without their basic necessities so that you can live in opulence. It requires a certain kind of shriveled sense of humanity, an ability to dehumanize working class people, an ability to just like shut down your empathy. Elon Musk says that he thinks empathy is human beings' greatest weakness, after all. I applaud Billie Eilish for making this stand. I applaud her for the strategic nature of what she said. Do I think it will reach people like Mark Zuckerberg? According to People magazine, folks in the audience told them that Mark Zuckerberg would not clap for Billie Eilish. So if you think that stuff doesn't get under his skin, yeah, think again. Let's not forget Mark Zuckerberg sold out. Facebook is now just a right-wing hellscape full of disinformation. Facebook helped get Donald Trump elected twice. Mark Zuckerberg cozied up to Trump on the dais. Mark Zuckerberg has been there basically being like, did I say this right? Did I make you happy, Daddy Donald? At multiple public events. Let's get back to this thing that Billie posited. Why is it we as a society accept billionaires, right? She asked these individual men, why is it that you are a billionaire? But we should have this question on a societal level. Why is it that we allow these guys to consolidate insane quantities of wealth? If the super rich in this country just paid the back taxes that they owe, if they just stopped being tax cheats, we would end poverty in America. It's not just that they don't pay their fair share because they are in this like tiny tax bracket, right? People who are in the 0.1%, the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, they're taxed almost nothing. Those of them that are taxed, it's around 8.1%. I don't know what your tax rate is. I pay more than that in state taxes. Let's leave business taxes and self-employment taxes and federal income taxes aside. Just in Oregon state income taxes, I pay a greater percentage of my income than Mark Zuckerberg, than any billionaire in this country. And I'm sure you do too. We all pay more in taxes than these guys. We pay a greater share of our income in taxes than these guys do. But then even so many of them refuse to pay what they owe that they deprive America of the ability to literally end poverty. Why is it that we are allowing this? Why can't we go back to a time when we had a marginal tax rate of 95%? It doesn't have to be for millionaires. If you are worth over $1 billion, understand these tax rates are everything. You can be taxed a certain amount up until you hit $1 billion. Then everything over $1 billion, 95% tax rate. Why not? We could do that. We could dream of that in America. We could have that in America. We had that in the past in America. Fucking Reaganomics fucked it all up for us. This total absolute lie of trickle-down economics fucked all of that for us. What a terrible, terrible scam that was pulled on the American people. And also really quickly at the end here, let me say the people on TikTok who are making their I'm not like the other girls' posts and being like, Billie Eilish is still super rich, so she shouldn't have given that speech. Yeah, Billie Eilish gave away over $11 million of her own money. I think that's about a quarter of her wealth. And you may be like, holy shit, she was worth $44 million. Yeah, that's a lot for a 23-year-old. You could argue she could give away more than that, sure. But why are we letting perfect be the enemy of good here? We're having somebody who is trying to put her money where her mouth is. Somebody who has been outspoken against the harm of the regime, somebody who has been outspoken against billionaires, and people are like, she gave away $11.5 million, but not all of it, so she can't talk. No, y'all, no. We need some kind of incremental acceptance. We need some kind of not letting perfect be the enemy of good. When we're looking at wealthy people who are willing to stand up, especially people like Billie Eilish who are not born into wealth and are very young, and clearly her heart is in the right place. Yes, instead of being like, girl, you only gave away $11.5 million, how about oh my God, that's awesome. More of this, please. More of this. Encourage your friends. Encourage fucking Taylor Swift. You or I, regular people, I think it's hard for us to conceptualize having that much money and not wanting to do good with it, not wanting to relieve the suffering of others, not wanting to make the world a better place. Because we are like that, we are people who would never be billionaires in the first place. We would give it all away long before then. And I think that's what we're seeing with someone like Billie. And we should be encouraging that behavior. There is so much joy in being able to help other people. That joy far surpasses the cold comfort of your giant pile of gold. That will never love you, that will never bring you joy, that will never bring you contentment. Obviously, as a permaculture person, I would say you want to know how you find contentment? You practice the ethics of earth care, people care, and fair share. So I commend Billie not only for being willing to give away a quarter of her wealth when she's only 23 years old, but also for being willing to stand up and address that room full of wealthy, influential people. and speak the uncomfortable truth to them.